international workshop for 2024, where we'll be inviting international students who either just graduated or in the process of graduating from their master's program, who are going to come here to Lesotho for 2 weeks. So before we get into that, which Daniela, our founder and executive director, will cover, I'm going to go over what RISE as an organization does and what we've managed to achieve. So the first slide is supposed to take us through what it is we do. There we go. So RISE is a nonprofit that's also registered as a social enterprise. We're based here in Lesotho. We've been working for 7 years, but we're also registered as a 501c in the US. And we focus mainly on 3 things, being job creation, skills development, and entrepreneurship. What's also not here is through our recent M&E initiatives we've established, we have 3 thematic areas, being the built environment, social enterprise, and as of 2 years ago, research and innovation. So basically, we work with recent graduates and individuals and communities. We have a 2-pronged model where we have the beneficiaries being the entrepreneurs and the youth who just graduated, and the communities where we partner them. So the young entrepreneurs are then going taken through a mindset shift so that they become job creators instead of job seekers. And the communities then get very much needed access to infrastructure. So this is our vision, where we believe we'd love to see sustainable social enterprises that are created by local entrepreneurs from low-income countries become the norm. How we're going to do that, this is our mission. We'd like to link them to the resources that they need that currently aren't in the country. Here is pretty much a summary of the 2-prong model I was talking about. The communities get infrastructure, technology, and are able to be taught about social enterprise and how to manage that. Then the entrepreneurs get soft skills, practical work, industry experience, and like I said, they're taught to become job creators. This is to give context to our international audience of where exactly Lesotho is based. So Lesotho is a landlocked country completely surrounded by South Africa, but to be specific, surrounded by 4 countries. It's South Africa, Namibia, Swaziland, and Botswana. And we are heavily reliant on South Africa for building materials, foods, and pretty much anything else that we can import. But before COVID, we had, and still currently suffering from higher youth unemployment. We desperately need infrastructure development, and we currently need support systems for entrepreneurship in the country as a way to alleviate high youth unemployment. This gives a visual of what the background and I'd say our topography looks like, because we're very mountainous. And this is just a picture of sort of our trademark of why we're called the country, the kingdom in the sky. Reason being, we have the highest low point in the world, which is 1,400 meters. And as I mentioned earlier, we're completely landlocked. And this represents how cold our winters get. And some of our tourist attractions is snow. And we have an area called Afriski in a peri-urban district called Botaboti. This is just some background on when we were founded. We were founded in 1878 by our founder, King Moshoeshoe, who was born in 1822. And the country is called Lesotho. The people are called Basotho. Our language is called Sesotho. This is people wearing the traditional blanket and our national monument, which is the traditional hat called the Mokokotlo, which represents the famous mountain of Tababisiu. Now, this is taking us through what it is the system and the ecosystem RISE is currently operating in the country we're based in, being Lesotho. As I mentioned, we have a very high youth unemployment rate, and majority of our population is the youth aged between 15 to 30. We have every year an influx of 7,500 people graduating. Those who can't find jobs become underemployed. At some point, you would have lost your parent before you're 18 to HIV and AIDS and other poverty-related diseases, which means it's 54.3% of the youth having gone through such. Unfortunately, our poverty line has people living less than $2 a day, and that's half the population, which currently stands at 2.2 million as per the latest census of 2022. Our solution as RISE is trade, not aid, which means we believe in a community-based approach where you have the community members being the ones taking the lead in decision-making and being able to share skills and peer-to-peer learning, which then creates accountability and ownership as opposed to if we were the ones leading the process. And this discusses the model that we have been doing for past 7 years, which is called In Local, which is based around, like I mentioned earlier, working with recent graduates from either architecture, the built environment, from the local institutions of higher learning. And we partner with communities as well as other organizations that are understanding the model and that it strives to have social change in a sustained manner. So INLOCO is an abbreviation for the following. IN being in is an abbreviation for it's involved. It's an involved model, which is international. LO is that it's local. CO is that it's in the construction industry and that we work with communities, so in local. This slide I'm talking to now is our impact, because I've talked about a lot what we do, how we do it, where we do it, what we're currently trying to solve. But now this shows that it actually has been working for the past 7 years. So in 7 years, talking to this pie chart, we have been able to incubate 50 graduates in the built environment. Now, of the 50, we have a success rate of 61 being self-employed, 23 have gone on to find employment, having gone through a program, and then 16 have gone on to further their education, because majority of them have the minimum requirement of a diploma, and then others go on to have a bachelor's, and others go on to do their honors or their master's. Having gone through the program, within 3 months of graduating, every month it has been seen that their income increases by 43%. Having gone through the program, they are able to create employment for a minimum of 5 people after graduating. Of the 50, we had been able to have 32 start their own businesses and create jobs collectively for 160 people. And out of the 50, furthermore, 33 have their own companies. And like I mentioned, have been able to start new jobs. So basically, what we're trying to explain with this model is that once they've graduated, their income increases, they're able to create employment for others. And what's missing from the slide is that they are able to then be able to have projects referred to them by us as RISE. What's missing is every 12 months, once they've graduated, we have referred a minimum of 2,600 maluti to them in projects, either full-time, part-time, either large scale, medium scale. It varies based on their skill set and what it is they've been able to achieve after graduating. So before Daniela moves on to the rest of the presentation being about what projects the different cohorts have done and so on and so forth. I think here, when people listen to this recording, or when you are here, Tim, do you probably want to give us just a brief summary, or I guess your perspective of how you saw the model being effective when you were here 2 years ago working at Sebuk?
Okay. Yeah, it was the program was really set up really well. It ran smooth, and Daniela and her team really facilitated the whole 2 weeks that we were over there. It was really inspiring to work with the fellows on the project. We worked on a school at a kitchen for a school. I think it's Saboka School, and it was just everything ran smooth. There wasn't any problems. Daniela was great, and her team. They all the side trips that we took were just great. It was just a great time, all in all. It was, like I said, just the country itself is beautiful. I wasn't sure what to expect. If it's all right to kind of talk about that, but it was just a beautiful country, and the people, I just fell in love with the people, and yeah, it was just a once in a lifetime opportunity, and the staff, Daniela and her staff, just really well organized, and everything just went along without any problems.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim, for that overview. That would be quite helpful for someone who will be coming for the first time and would like to hear what to expect from someone who, like you, has been never been to the country, did not expect, and has never come across this model. So over to you then, Dan, to take us through the rest of the presentation.
Okay, super. Thanks a lot, Ree. And thanks, Tim, for giving that testimonial. It'd be great if you could stick to the end, so that in case we have any people who have any questions for you directly, that would be awesome. So just checking you can see my slide okay there. Ree, can you just confirm you can see my screen okay?
Yes, I can. T, can you
Okay.
see it?
Great. If you can, that everyone can.
Yes,
Thanks.
yes. Oh,
Super.
sorry.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Daniela, the co-founder and executive director of Rise. And just to show you a little bit quickly, some of the kind of projects we've worked on through the years since we started in 2018. This was our first cohort of fellows where we worked on an overcrowded orphanage called God's Love Center, who are in desperate need of extra space. And this is the girls' room where they were sleeping on the floor and had no differentiation of ages from the little girls to adolescents, and the same in the boys' room. So this was the land that we acquired for the project, and this is the building that our fellows designed and built from fired bricks, the residential area on the right-hand side, and then the counseling, dining, living, and reception area on the left-hand side. And all the projects we do, we try as much as possible to incorporate an element of social enterprise so that the community partners with whom we partner are able to generate income to then fund their programs or partly fund their programs and towards the maintenance and repair work of the building. So their community identified two key income generating ideas, which we converted this shipping container into a computer lab and a small tuck shop, which then actually became more of like a grocery store. And then we also did some low-cost gardening, green shades in the back of the garden, and some sort of area for poultry. Our second In Loco Fellowship in 2019 was a very different project. We partnered with a parent-led association called IDAL, and that's stands for Intellectual Disabilities and Autism Lesotho. They had a dream for many, many years to build a center, a multi-purpose center, both to give technical skills to people with disabilities, especially intellectual disabilities, as well as parents to help with how to diagnose their children and do development exercises to help their children be more and more independent as they get older. So this was an agricultural area, so I had to be very creative. We did a master plan because it's quite a large piece of land, looking at what skills they had and what they wanted to do. And of course, farming was an obvious choice. So we designed so that there will be future agricultural projects and animal farming as well. Which is also very good for people with autism to do repetitive work in the nature, in the gardens. Sports and recreation activities, which also were identified by the local communities as a need. And then the actual center itself, which we actually designed and built, it had to be completely off-grid and also temporary. So it's actually all made of timber that can be dismantled on a series of pillars made of tires, so that the cement was actually poured into the tire columns. There's a total of 270 tires that were donated to this. So that was the center that our fellows built in 2019. And that's the fellows themselves there. Moving on to 2020, yep, COVID didn't stop us. We got special permission to carry on with our projects, which we got permitted from government. And this was our cohort, we're very happy and proud to say, with our largest number of percentage of girls. The project there was with a not-for-profit called Lanford, which stands for the Lesotho National Federation for Organizations for the Disabled. They do all the advocacy work for people with disabilities in the country, and they wanted an office building that was fully inclusive, because at the time they were renting facilities that were not even wheelchair accessible. So this was a fairly small building, but they are now able to hire employees in wheelchairs, and we're very happy with that result. And we also designed it with a boardroom that was accessible from the outside, so that they can rent it out with its own entrance and the toilets here, as well as some hotspots facilities for people of the community to come and rent out hotspot desks. Now, this is the project, the 5 Hub School projects that has been going on for since 2019 in various projects within 5 schools in partnership with a not-for-profit in Ireland called Action Ireland Trust. where we are doing all the infrastructure development, including running water toilets, boreholes, first of all, to get water to run the toilets, and having kitchens with running water and better hygienic facilities, as well as collecting rainwater, harvesting, and then food gardens where the schools can grow their own crops to improve the nutrition of the children, and also sell any excess produce as an income generating activity for the school. And Action Ireland Trust also does a lot of teacher training and WASH training. We also have an after schools program called Creolabs to promote creative thinking and start nurturing the future entrepreneurs of Lesotho. And this is all as an initiative, which is an international initiative that UNICEF initiated to make the schools more child friendly. And this is just some of the work that the learners did around the COVID times. And this is some of the buildings we've built and our pioneers built. So our fellows, when they graduate from the fellowship and start up their own companies, as Ree said earlier, they become pioneers and enter our business incubation program. And these are some of the projects that we have referred to them and do in partnership with them. So this is one of the school kitchens that was built. And this was the project that Tim was a part of in 2022, which was actually a sandbag school kitchen made out of sandbags, which was a new methodology that we were experimenting with, and did it also as a community participation project. And the fellows who were building that building, they have now formed, they're so passionate about sandbag technology, their company has formed around sandbag technology and want to promote that methodology of building with, because it's very good insulation qualities, very good soundproofing. It is bulletproof and of course fireproof. And these are some of the food gardens that we've built. And we've also been doing quite a lot of work in research and innovation. We don't just build buildings, but we also do a lot of research into sustainable low carbon materials that can be produced in the country to try and reduce the amount of imports. As we were saying, over 75% of materials are imported from South Africa, which is no good when you've got such a high level of unemployment and the need to grow our local economy. So we did an 18-month project, which we just finished at the end of last year. And we looked at indigenous materials such as straw, grass, which is used for thatch, sheep's wool to see if it could be used for insulation, sandstone, which is found extensively in the country, and then also looking at what alternative materials can be converted into building materials, such as recycled plastic and other recycled materials, as well as hemp, which currently grows very well as medicinal cannabis, but hemp can also be grown very, very well in the country. And we're currently working on advocating for that new sector. And last but not least, compressed earth blocks, because the soil in Lesotho has got a good amount of clay in it. And that is one of the materials, and the material that we're going to be focusing on this year's workshop, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And just to the last fellowship we did in last year in 2023, our partner is a not-for-profit called Kick for Life. And we're building an 11-a-side football stadium made of timber. And our fellows designed the stadium and did the first 6-meter prototype that you can see there in the bottom right-hand corner. And this is going to be Southern Africa's first FSC project, because the timber is being sourced from a sustainable plantation. So we're getting the Forest Stewardship Council certification for the stadium, which we're very excited about, and it's due to be completed in December. So that's the stadium under construction right now in the top left-hand corner. So coming to the workshop now, which is due to start on the 22nd of July, we really want to focus on sharing our learnings on how to produce and build with interlocking compressed earth blocks. So they're called ICEBs. This on the right-hand side is our latest press made in South Africa. And now the next step is we're going to be training people in Lesotho to make the press in Lesotho as well. And on the left-hand side are the compressed earth blocks. So as you can see, they kind of fit together like Lego bricks, which means you don't need mortar to build with them. So that reduces the amount of cement that's needed. And these blocks are made with a mixture of soil, basically, as long as there's enough clay content, with a little bit of cement. We're adding a bit of cement just to give that more structural integrity and duration. So they will be completely waterproof as well, but they don't need to be fired. So we don't need to cut any trees down. We don't need charcoal. With the compression of the machine and about 20 days of curing, they are then ready to build. So they're much more eco-friendly than the fired bricks, and then cement blocks, which emits a lot of carbon in its production. So just to give you a bit of an insight as to the project itself is going to be a community project. We're identifying what the actual project is going to be, but it'll be highly unlikely that the project will be completed within the 2 weeks. But within the 2 weeks, what we can make sure is that you will get to learn how to build with earth, how to get the mixtures right and use the machinery, and then also how to build with the blocks that we will have prepared in advance for the commencement of the international workshop. So the workshop is typically, you get to Maseru, either you fly into Johannesburg and then take another flight from Johannesburg to Maseru, which is about a 40-minute flight. But because there's only one airline, the prices can be fairly expensive. So we do help coordinate. If there's a few of you arriving in Johannesburg, we can then share the costs of a car, which is can be more economical than flying, but now that's become, it depends on the price of petrol. So those are the options. If we drive, it's about a 5-hour drive from Johannesburg to Lesotho. Then you get settled in. The second day, you get to meet the RISE team, get familiar with Maseru, the capital city, go and visit some local hardware stores and raw material manufacturers to get a feel for what are the sort of building materials available there, and to go and see the projects and visit some of our previous projects as well. And then the rest of the time is spent on site. So it's very practical, hands-on design and build. If design, it depends what's going on at that time. Like, for example, when Tim, you came, there were also some other projects that needed our help, some other community projects. There was a community literacy room that was being built in a town about 40 minutes away, and the community were in desperate need of some architectural advice on the gradient, how to solidify because there was a very steep wall, and some ideas on the actual design of the building. So some of the participants got to design and help with that even after they left Lesotho as well. I know, Tim, you were still involved with that, and that project then got completed, after the workshop. So we always have multiple projects going on. So depending on your interests as well, as much as possible, we can expose you to other things as well. So you just tell us what you're really particularly interested in. And then at the weekends, we can organize some additional excursions and activities. Lesotho is very mountainous, so there's fantastic hiking, amazing horse riding. The Basotho ponies are internationally known for their sure-footedness. They can climb down mountains, up and down canyons in an amazing way. I was fortunate enough in 2016 to do a 6-day horse trek across a third of the country, and I have to say there was some terrain that I was too nervous to walk on, so I sat on the horse and he did it all, and it was amazing. There's also some incredible waterfalls and really beautiful places to learn more about the culture and get out of the capital city, because the projects that we'll be going to every day will be about a 20-minute drive or so from the city center. So it's really important in the weekends to get out and see other parts of the country. And then day 14 is leaving Maseru. What a lot of students have done in the past is then taken the opportunity to fly to Cape Town and explore there. There's an airport an hour and a half away from Maseru called Bloemfontein, and they're quite cheap internal flights because Bloemfontein is in South Africa. So you can easily fly from there to Cape Town and then either fly back to your home country or fly back to Johannesburg and then fly back home from Johannesburg. And we can also give you advice and assistance with all of those additional tips. So why should you participate in this design and build workshop in what will be Lesotho's winter, by the way, but you know, the summer in the global north. But I have to say, as much as the nights are cold, you know, temperatures can go down to like -3, -4 in Maseru. In the mountains, coldest it's been is like -10. But in the daytime, it's beautiful and sunny and quite and very dry. So you'll need, you know, lots of layers because in the daytime you'll definitely be getting warm and be working in a t-shirt. And then as the sun goes down, start getting the layers on. So the dates are July 22nd to August 2nd. And the cost is $1,895. That includes accommodation, all meals, and local travel once you're within Lesotho. What it doesn't include is your international flight, and obviously any visa costs and any additional excursions and activities you'd like to do, and any immunizations that you're going to need as well, and travel insurance. The deadline for applications is the 31st of May. So then that leaves us, you know, a month and a half to get everything sorted out, your vaccinations, visas, and so on, if you do need a visa. And that's the link to apply online. That's an online application form. It's very quick. You just have to enter all your data and then answer 2 questions that we just basically want to understand your motivation for wanting to come on the workshop, because we want to make sure your expectations are aligned with what the workshop can offer, and any other sort of relevant experience that you might have, and then to upload your CV. And some reasons as to, you know, why you want to attend the workshop. It's an opportunity to develop some design skills in a challenging environment that's resource scarce. So some of the things that past students have told us they've really learned is that in their own home country, they're used to having so much equipment and resources. This really challenged their ability to problem solve, and learned a lot from the local team that they worked with in Lesotho. It's an opportunity to learn peer-to-peer, you know, with the other students, international students that you'll be with. It's a fantastic opportunity to build relationships and networking opportunities with people from all around the world. It's an opportunity to meet like-minded construction, engineering, and architecture international students, and to be part of a scalable solution. As we explained earlier, we really believe in doing development in a dignified, sustainable manner where communities are at the forefront of their own futures. And we believe in community-driven development rather than donor-driven development. So it's a really great opportunity for you to learn about our methodology and an opportunity of a possible, you know, solution to putting an end to some of the root causes of poverty in Africa, which is, you know, lack of jobs and abilities to generate income. And it also helps you develop learnings, develop learnings from this pilot project. We're piloting, you know, the ICEB project. This is the first building we're going to be building made out of ICEB. So it's an exciting opportunity to experiment and learn with us, as we did with the sandbag building a couple of years ago. Here are just a few testimonials from some of our one of our international students, Luja. And she said that in just 10 days, this was when the workshop was just 10 days, but we increased it because the feedback was it was just too short. But she said, in just 10 days, I met architects, filmmakers, artists, engineers, and recent graduates who had brilliant ideas of what to do in the future. I went to workshops, lectures, brainstorm panels, and listened to people who have traveled half the world and worked between continents, sharing their thoughts and stories. Everything I heard and saw will certainly influence my decision-making in the future and will always be treasured in my memory. And she was a student from Pratt Institute at the time. And I'll just conclude with my favorite African proverb, which is, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. And we really invite you to join us in this journey of learning by doing, as we say, on this Design and Build international workshop. And so I will just leave the slide there for a minute. If you want to take down our email addresses, that's mine and Ree's. And now we're open for any questions. I see Maurizio, you're on the line. And then if you're watching this recording, people are welcome to either email us your questions or send it through via our website via the form when you complete the application. So I will remove that slide there and open up for any questions from anybody. And also, Tim, if there was anything else you wanted to add, please feel free to unmute yourself and chip in at any time.
Okay.
Thank you. Maurizio, did you have any questions?
Yes, just one question, please. First of all, thank you for this presentation. Very interesting. Who can apply for this? Just architecture students or anyone interested? Because I know someone interested and he's not architecture.
That's a great question. Thanks for asking that. So the workshop is open to any international students at tertiary level, so at university level, or who have already graduated. And in fact, it can be also, older students as well. I hope you don't mind me, Tim, using you as an example. Tim was somebody who's had multiple different careers, and very later on in his career decided, and maybe Tim, you can chip in as to your motivation for that. But just to quickly answer you, Maurizio, typically the students are, the applicants are from architecture or mural arts or engineering. But we also have had somebody last year actually who was an international politics and human rights graduate. And so for her, we developed a separate program. We partnered actually with Lanford. But we've also had people who've graduated something else, but they wanted to actually work on site as well. So we can, adapt the program depending on your interests and needs. So you don't have to have any architectural knowledge to be building on site. You just have to be willing to get your hands dirty, have an open mind, have some humility, a sense of humor, be adaptable to changing circumstances, and be open to learning, really. So I hope does that answer your question, Maurizio?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, and advise your friend maybe to send me an email with what it is they'd be looking for, and I can then take up that conversation with them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Tim, yeah, I think it would be really great for you to give your insights as to what motivated you to apply for the workshop and what you were hoping to get out of it and what you actually did get out of it.
Okay. Yeah, let's see what motivated me. I guess well, a couple things. One was I just wanted to contribute to society in some meaningful way, and that's kind of what took me down the path of schooling later on in life. But what I hope to get out of the project was just experience working with people and world travel and learning from others and just how to design better and how to communicate better with other people. And that was all just a part of the process of going over there. Just trying to think, some of the highlights of the trip were just working with the guys on laying the foundation for the building, and the kids. We were fortunate enough to be working at a school, and there was young kids there going to school while we were working, and it was inspiring to just mingle with them and work with them, and your heart just goes out to them. And so that was something that was kind of a side benefit. But I just enjoy working in the built environment, and there's the types of projects that you're involved in over there are just, if you like working in the built environment, you'll love these types of projects, because they're just, well, for instance, the Saboka School was using indigenous materials, the sandbags and stuff, and kind of focused on sustainable design. So that was great. And we visited some of the other schools in the 5 Hub school project and saw how those projects were designed and completed. And yeah, it was just great over there. And like I said, it's a beautiful country, and the people are beautiful people, and just, it was a great time. Great time.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have anything to add, say, ask before we conclude the session? No? Okay, super. Well, any questions that might come to mind, do please send us an email. We've got about 3 weeks left before the deadline. And thank you very much for joining us today. We hope to see some of you in Lesotho in a couple of months' time. And yeah, thank you so much for joining, and have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.